Hello, my name is Abel with TwoLunchTrunk.com. I'm here with Jeff. He was in PuppetMaster 2. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. We're going to run through here just with a little bit of your background, then jump straight into what the fans want, the PuppetMaster. Okay. I was looking on your website that Deer Hunter was, is your favorite film. Did it have a certain influence in you for acting or directing?
It did. It really was such a powerful movie for me when I saw it that I actually had a girlfriend at the time, and I told her, you gotta go home, I can't even see you tonight. I had to go home, and I just cried for about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
It affected me so much, and I always wanted to, as an actor, I always wanted to be in a movie like that, a military film. I ended up getting cast in the movie Platoon years later, and I actually couldn't do it because I was doing another movie in Greece at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie ended up going down for like 2 years, and that was originally Charlie's part when I got cast. I got cast the part of Tex, and it ended up 2 years later going back into production, and it was with Charlie Sheen, and that's when I was in Greece and I couldn't do it. So one of those great moments where your life could have changed, but you were on a different road,
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's very... I'm pretty sure that's something you won't hear on the DVD of commentary behind the scenes of Platoon.
Sorry?
No, that's some nifty information. I'm pretty sure many people didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a really, Deer Hunter was to me a perfect movie in every way, and I don't think there's been a movie like it or will be for a long time. I just think that the days of great movies are kind of behind us, and every now and then you might get lucky and a film will come out, but studios, they want different things. They want Transformers, which is fine, but it's just enough Transformers. Let's get back to great stories.
Yeah. And I was looking at some of your the films. Is that pronounced right? Dickwad?
Dickwad was my first short. Yeah, it's a movie about it was a short about a guy who gets his only day off in 17 years and he can't get home.
Oh.
And literally, like 20 minutes from his house, he can't get there. Like every crazy thing happens. It's been along the lines of that movie After Hours with Griffin Dunn. And it's just one mishap after the other. Because I had originally, what happened was I was an actor, and I realized I had no power because I had been up for a TV series, and they promised, the series to me, and then I ended up not getting it. So the producer kind of lied to me, and it kind of upset me. So I decided I'm going to become a filmmaker, and I could shoot these movies better than most of the directors I work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I made this little short with no money, and I basically begged Martin, stole everything. I mean, I put my blood into that thing. I got free film from AXA. I got a free camera package from Panavision. I got a top DP to shoot it. And I wrote it, and my wife said to me, how are you going to ever do this thing? You have no money. And I said, I'm going to get everything donated, including the food. So I did, and it won a bunch of festivals, and I got an investor out of that that started my company, Periscope Pictures, which ended up being in business for about 7 years. And we made 3 films out of that office. One of them being Gunshot, my first movie, Under the Full Moon, which is really crazy. It's very much, they call it El Mariachi meets Raising Arizona.
Oh.
And that Under the Full Moon starred Chris Finch, Stephen Baldwin when he was hot, and Emily Lloyd, the girl from River Runs Through It.
Yeah, I saw the other one, and the one that caught my attention was Say It in Russian.
Yeah, Say It in Russian was a movie I did recently in Russia, and it's still in the process of coming out, even though it's been done 4 years ago, because there's a legal battle between 2 people involved in the film.
Okay.
So, what were you going to say about Say It in Russian?
No, just that, that I saw that it had several awards on there, and I was pretty amazed because not many people know you as a director, and, just,
I've won 14 awards total.
14?
Since I started, yeah, and it's been a good ride. I mean, my last movie, Breaking Point, is my favorite. I mean, that's one I made with Tom Berenger and Busta Rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on Asante. That's a real intense kind of New Jack City meets The Verdict, they say.
And I have to applaud to you because, many filmmakers always feel negative. They're always, in the mindset of, I can't do it. No one's going to help me out. But you made it happen. If everybody had the same mentality, thinking, well, I'm not just being completely honest. I have no money. This is just for work. This is, everything's being donated, and you made it happen. And congratulations. I have to say.
Thank you, and that's what I say to all filmmakers when I go to festivals and I talk to them. I say, can you talk to people? Can you talk to people? Talk to people into giving you money, giving you things. If you can't, then you're never going to get anywhere. You got to believe in what you're doing and just believe that anything can happen and never give up. And I always have a good attitude. It's just the way I am. I mean, it's something I was born with, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Is there a certain genre you stick with, or do you want to have, or do you have a different, or do you want to have
my idols like Robert Zemeckis and Spielberg, people like that make all different kinds of films. I like all different kinds of movies, and I respect the filmmakers that make them well. So I say to myself, I can make a horror picture and scare the heck out of you, and I can make an action film. And I turned from a comedy director into an action director because it was just easier to get those films made. Comedy, I knew I was going to just plod along for years and maybe not get anything off the ground, but I started Dick Wad and Hole Moon were my two comedies, and then I went into doing action films, and now I'm about to start a big American baseball story about a true story about a kid that was crippled and ended up getting signed to the majors at 17 because he believed in himself.
the hardest hit, right?
He couldn't even run very well. That's the hardest hitter. It was now called 11 for 11. And the writer, we got the writer from Rudy and Hoosiers to do a rewrite on the script, and he just made the movie amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the hardest hit, correct? For those who may not know.
It was originally called the hardest hitter, and now it's called 11 for 11. But we're still in the process of getting it financed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very close.
On that note, are there any actors you would love to work with? Obviously there's like a huge rod of actors you want to work with, but is there one that has a special meaning to you that to have that privilege working with?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Walken is somebody I've never worked with, and I'd love to work with him before he gets too old because he's one of my idols. Because he was in my movie Deer Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He was incredible, and there's a lot of actors that I really love. I mean, there's some new actors now. Tom Hardy, which is amazing. I'd love to work with him. He looks like he's got a lot of potential and hasn't been fully realized in a lot of different types of things he can do. I mean, in Warrior, he was amazing, but there's other things I think he can do to even be more recognized as an actor today.
Yeah, totally agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you don't mind me jumping into the Puppet Master questions, is it okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Some of these were, submitted by fans, and some of them are quote unquote geeky. But your character Lance is a paranormal investigator. Did you have to do any research for the paranormal role?
Yeah, I looked at a lot of the shows that had paranormal guys on them, and I just thought that this character was a guy who didn't take himself seriously, and he didn't take anything supernatural seriously. He was a non-believer in anything other than himself, and I just had a lot of fun with it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, when I went on the audition, a lot of the actors were in the room, and they were in the waiting room, and they were all serious, and it's like they were at a funeral. I actually said, "Are you guys at a funeral or what?" Everybody laughed. And there was another guy in the room with me that I didn't know, named Greg Webb. He plays the other character in the movie, the one that gets drilled by Pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually laughed at my joke, and then he made a couple jokes, I made a couple more, and then I looked at him, I said, "You're going to get the job on this movie. You got a sense of humor. You got a sense of humor." So I went in on audition, and I booked it, and then I went to the set, and I was working, and I walked by this, room, and there he is. And I said, "I told you you were going to get on this film." And we were lifelong friends after that, and then ended up writing Hole Moon together. He was my writing partner after that, so, yeah.
That's amazing. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, how was
We
it?
had a lot of fun with it, and we were directed by a director who was an actual puppeteer, so it's really bizarre to work with a guy like that, because he was a stop-motion guy, and stop-motion people are, in nature, kind of nerdy and intellectual, and he would tell me, stand here and put your arm on that girl's shoulder, and then he would yell 6 figures of us and tell us where we're going to be. And I would just crack up. While other actors were banging their head against the wall wanting to quit the movie, because they'd never worked with a director who wasn't really a director, he was more of a puppeteer.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Guys, have a sense of humor. I mean, the guy's got a movie made, he's the director, embrace him. Just do what you feel is right, and try to listen to what he wants." I mean, and so, through that, there's a lot of funny scenes in Puppet Master that aren't in there. That they wouldn't let me do, like certain things, like at the table when I'm eating, and they're telling me about the brain getting stuck out of the head. I was eating like a brownie,
Uh-huh.
I picked up Pinhead, like it was a dead rat. It was just funny to me. Like he goes over and he picks it up like he's scared of it, like it's going to bite him or something, and they laughed. And so I had a lot of fun and doing different things in it, you know?
No, yeah, and that was one of my questions, if you had any funny stories, if, you know, to tell about the film. But, yeah, I mean,
Well, that's a couple of them. I mean, picking up the doll, like, you know, I didn't take it seriously. I was a very serious actor at the time, and I didn't take that seriously. I just felt it was, like, more tongue-in-cheek, and I had a lot of fun. It was one of the better things I did, I think, as far as my work as an actor, even though it was a small little horror picture. I had a really good time on it. I made a lot of really good friends. And Charlie Spradling, I just ran into recently, who was my girlfriend in the movie. She was on Twin Peaks. And, you know, she had one heck of a body, and you really can't complain when you're in a scene with her, and, you know, she has to take her shirt off. You're kind of like, oh, this is not bad. You're paid for this.
Yeah. That you're kind of getting ahead of me, but yeah, that is one of the questions. But they kind of go more into detail. But yeah, that's cool that you bring this up. But had you heard of PuppetMaster of the first film before taking up the role?
Yeah, I heard about it. I knew it was a series, and the first one was a big hit, and Charlie was making the second one, and the casting people, Bob McDonald and Perry Blinton, were people that brought me into a lot of movies, and I used to always send them thank you notes, and they used to send me notes back saying, don't thank us for anything, you get the jobs on your own, we don't hardly even push you, you just come in and you nail it. And I said, I always thought you guys, like, you know, help me along. They said, no, it's you. So.
Oh, well, have you seen any films since then of the PuppetMaster series?
No, I never watched any of the ones after that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Had you heard of other Full Moon films aside from the PuppetMaster series?
Oh, yeah, I knew all of them. I knew Charlie pretty well, and, you know, he had worked for Full Moon on three different movies. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, one of them, Demonic Toys, and I, for the life of me, I can't remember the third.
The third was Oblivion.
Yes.
And Oblivion 2, I'm in that movie with my wife. She plays this kind of whip-wielding villain in the movie. She's the lead. And George Takei was in it, and Lurch from the Addams Family movies. Carl, I think his name is Carl Stryken or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we shot that in Romania.
Oh, yeah. I spoke with Charles Band earlier, and he was saying that most of his films in Romania, you know, are a lot cheaper and, you know.
Yeah. They shoot a lot of movies there now because the production costs are so much less.
On one of the scenes where a child gets quote-unquote burned, were you on set for that, or?
I was not. I didn't even know about that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's this one scene.
Which movie was this?
PuppetMaster II.
Oh, no, I didn't even know about it. Unless I don't remember. You know, it's been too long.
Yeah, because one of the fans asked, I'm like, well, I don't think he'll, remember, but yeah, because there's this one scene where Torch, the one with the fire, is discovered by a little boy, and the little boy's pretending to be Indiana Jones, and, whips the puppet, and then the puppet, out of anger, burns the child.
Oh, no, I didn't know about that.
Okay, well.
But I can tell you that a really interesting 2-second story that nobody probably will even remember. When I was shooting that film, we were downtown in an old building, and that was the old house. And when I was outside on the street, trying to leave the building, there were police everywhere, and there had been a gang shooting literally right in front of our set.
Oh, wow.
And they shot a guy in the head, and he hit a tree and fell down. They say he ran around by the catering truck, so a lot of people saw it. It was horrible, but I remember trying to get out of the building. We had to go underneath the building and try to escape through different hallways and try to get around the police madness. And we didn't know what was going on. They were like, you can't leave yet. And that was an incident that happened during the shooting of that movie. It's just not a lot of people probably remember. Nothing to do with the movie or anything. It was just out on the street on location, but it was mayhem going on outside.
Looking back on it, was it, as well, while it was happening, were you very concerned? I mean, obviously you were, but...
Oh, yeah, obviously you were freaked out. You know if the guys have guns around on the street, they're coming back. When you're in a situation like that and somebody's flying on the sidewalk, it's literally dead. Mm-hmm. You shoot over them and you're right there. It's pretty, it's real life.
Do you agree with Charles Band's point of view of practical effects versus CGI?
I do, actually. I didn't even know he believes in that way, but I actually have a horror movie that I wrote called Stinger that I want to hire a dancer to be in and wear a suit, a really incredible dancer from Cirque du Soleil, because, you know, some of the greatest movies for me, the scariest movies, are like Altered States, where William Hurt turns into this prehistoric man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so scared, and they had a dancer, short guy, and Stan Winston built the suit. And he looked like a young kid, like kind of a, you know, Cro-Magnon man with like sharp teeth, and the actor that played him just made it terrifying. You know, it was an incredible movie, and so I kind of believe in that. You know, I kind of agree with Charlie.
Okay, yeah, because he does.
You know, I could be a little fake, and I get tired of it.
Oh, and that's very, yeah, because we're discussing about CGI just, you know, taking the fun out of watching a movie, you know, taking from the character, taking away from the plot, you know, from the storyline. You know, like many people walk out there saying, "Oh, I like the way it looked, but you know, the storyline sucked."
Yeah, exactly.
Were you surprised by the designs of the puppets?
Yeah, I mean, I found it very interesting. I mean, there was a day when I walked by to go to lunch, and the director was standing there looking at a miniature set, and he was staring at it for like 20 minutes. Literally 20 minutes. I counted it. I timed it. He was staring at the set, and I was like, "Wow, check this guy out. It's so interesting. These little characters, he's moving around." And he didn't move anything. He just stood there. And I went to lunch. I came back, and like, yeah, 10 minutes later, he's still there. So he's there for like a half an hour. And then I watched him, and he picked up a rock and he moved it. And that's all he did. That's how detailed he was. You know, we were like, holy smokes. You know, those guys are, you know, people that are editors and people that make models and people do stop motion. You know, that's a whole different mindset.
Okay. And you know, don't take this wrong, but hearing from what you say, you're more of a joker on set. You know, kind of, you know, have.
Oh yeah, I like to have a good time. I like to, you know, it depends on what I'm doing. I mean, I always create different environments as the director on my set because I think it's super important. Otherwise, you just have, you know, everybody is walking around in like a gloom. It depends on what kind of movie you're doing. I mean, if it's a dramatic scene, I'm not joking around a lot. I mean, I'm more in the mode of that. But yeah, I've always been like the sarcastic guy that didn't take life too seriously. You know?
That's good to hear because many actors, you know, they do the scene, go straight to the trailer, don't want to do anything, and then just go out when they have to and try ignoring the outside world.
Oh yeah, I was never like that. I was always, I love what I do. I love the business. I feel fortunate enough that I'm allowed to do this for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I've been doing it's all I know. I mean, I can't do anything else. I've been doing this my whole life, so.
And I appreciate that.
The two things in life I love are making movies and surfing. I mean, surfing is my other huge sport, and I do it, you know, I surf probably 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Trying to create a surf film right now, like a kind of something along the lines of Point Break. It's a very intense story, but involves the world of surfing.
That'd be very interesting, and I would keep the fans up to date. You know, putting your website up on my website and on our forums, so people can, you know, have a bigger range in knowing who you are as opposed to just the actor on PuppetMaster.
Right.
Now,
Did you? I was a young wild boy back then. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure you're still wild. Did you have a favorite puppet?
Yeah, you know, I don't know why, but I liked that one with the pinhead because it was just funny how it drilled people's heads out. It made me laugh.
The tunneler. I'm sorry.
Tunneler?
Yeah, tunneler with a drill.
Yeah, I love that one. That one was just, I mean, it had a great face, and I loved it. You know, I like toys for movies. You know, I have a sculpture of the alien in the movie that I wrote, and an artist made. I didn't want a guy who made effects for movies. I wanted an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And he created this bust, this huge head, and I used to have it in my office on a pedestal, and I loved it. I mean, I went to the Full Moon store that they had recently on Sunset Boulevard, and it was so cool to see all the old toys, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty awesome of Charlie that he created that world, no matter what you can say about him. You look back, I mean, I created like a little mini empire in the horror world, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, many fans do appreciate the work that Full Moon does and Charlie does because, I mean, you don't see that anymore. Many, it's gone completely too mainstream. Where
yeah, it's the whole business changed. But I can tell you one thing. I was going to tell you about. It's off track here. I can't remember right now. I was going to tell you something that was an interesting story about that, about, the fans. When I was in New York years ago, I screened my movie Under the Whole Moon, one of the coolest moments I ever had, and I was in this coffee shop in the Angelica Theater in New York City, in the Village, and I walked up, and this girl behind the counter literally, like, almost had a heart attack. She, like, freaked out and grabbed her hair and started, like, screaming, like, hyperventilating, and I was like, what the heck is going on with you? And she goes, oh my God, you're Lance in Dangerous Toys. You know?
Yeah.
And then she just freaked out. She just loved that movie. She loved all the Full Moon movies. She was an addict. She was a huge fan. And the fact she met me, she freaked out. She wanted an autograph and pictures. And I said, whatever you want. I mean, but the fact that you watched this movie so intently scares me to step back. So.
Yeah, because I was also speaking with George Peck. He was in Curse of the Puppet Master, and he didn't realize that many people watch these, the series and appreciate your guys' work in the film, despite if it was good or bad. We as fans love it, for you guys to have been part of this, and we strongly appreciate your guys' input on what you're talking about now and your work that you have done and did on the film.
Oh, awesome. That was a good time. I had a really good time making it. I mean, like I said, I made a lot of good friends. Back then, I did another movie called American Ninja 2, which is also one of those canon films that were turned into a series. American Ninja 1, American Ninja 2. I think they did like 7 or 8 of them. And starred Michael Dudikoff. And I met my wife on that movie. I was in Africa for the first time in my life. I shot in South Africa. I traveled all over the world. And it actually changed my life, that movie. And between those two films, they were two of my, I'd say, one of my favorite experiences as an actor, just because of the camaraderie on the set and the fun we had.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know, half of the stuff. I had read your bio and I was like, oh, okay, this is what to expect. But from what you're talking about, it's very interesting. And I don't mean to sound sarcastic of any sort, because many people say I sound sarcastic, but truly am amazed and fascinated by your work.
Oh, thanks. No, I mean, that's cool. I mean, if it touches somebody in some way, that's what it's all about,
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, good or bad, or if it's weird, or
it's an experience.
There's some weird movies out there. There's some weird filmmakers, that I've seen. Like, I just went to see a Scream, my editor, on a movie recently called Spring Breakers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming out soon. And it's all the girls from Disney are basically like murderers in this movie. And James Franco plays this psychotic, like, Miami, kind of like drug dealing villain. And he's got like cornrows and steel teeth. And I just saw the film, and the director is Armin Karan, which is one of the strangest directors. It's a really strange movie, like really weird.
Mm-hmm.
The girls in bikinis, the whole movie with machine guns and like pink hoods, and I loved it. I mean,
Yeah. Most people don't realize that, what kind of films actually exist out there, and they just go for, oh, it just came out in theater, oh, I have to go see that, and they don't realize, back in when, video stores were still around, VHS, hey, what is this, and that's where most of the film's fans, not just Full Moon, but everybody else's films got recognized. They found their audience at video stores, or now it's online.
exactly.
How was your reaction when you first, found out that you had a quote-unquote fight scene with a puppet, in bed?
I really got reaction. I just went for it. I mean, I loved it. And I just got into it. I took it for me. I took it. I mean, it's serious. I mean, the only thing that I had a little more fun with was when Greg gets drilled by a tunneler in the forehead.
Mm-hmm.
I whack it off, with a lamp, I think, and then I go over to kick it up like a dead rat. I mean, that is one of my funniest moments. I just had a good time doing that. I mean, the way I picked it up, like, by the shirt, I carried it out, dropped it in the trash can. It's just funny.
Yeah, many fans and myself. I was watching it recently, and it's just very funny how you pick it up, like, ugh, gross, disgusting. Even though it's not, it's just like, ugh.
It was a choice I made because I was like, I wanted to do something different. I would teach acting. You know, I have a whole school I train actors at, and I always tell them, you got to do something that people remember that are different because there's a million actors doing the same thing, sitting in the same chair, and the directors and everybody gets bored. And the one thing I teach all actors is when you go to an audition, you're not there to get the job. It's a business. You're there to help the director and casting people cast their movie by being great. So you just go in there and service them. You walk in there and you're thinking in your mind, I'm here to help you. I'm just here to help you. And you won't feel that pressure. I'm trying to get the job, you know.
Yeah, great. I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, you, speaking of experience, because I've witnessed a few, casting calls before, and you're totally right. Many people go out there and just like, oh, I want to get the part, as opposed to, reading the line as if they were, to let loose.
I used to always walk in with a smile and shake their hand with such confidence and say to them, look, believe me, I mean, I always had nerves. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I always had this little, line I would say in my head. As I shake their hand, I say, I'm here to help you. I've got this down, I'm confident, and I want you to, because all they want you to do is be good. They can go, okay, cast the hand, so we can move on to the next person, because that's tiring casting. It's fun.
Yeah. Man. Going on to what you're referring to earlier with Charlie, what was your initial reaction to having a sex scene? Well, technically a sex scene with her, or being topless?
Oh, I'm very respectful. In fact, when I direct the movie, I don't have any nudity in the film. I'm super respectful, because I become not even a guy. I'm like a machine, I don't even think about it, and I was super respectful of Charlie. I was married at the time, and I was really super, we were super happy, and I just wanted Charlie to be comfortable. So, when I make jokes about, she was a beautiful girl, and all my friends were like, wow, that's a rough job you have. But, I did it like I did any other scene, honestly, just really serious, and took it for what it was, and had fun with her. Like I said, we're still friends today. I think that she felt comfortable with me because I wasn't like hitting on her or had any kind of, agenda.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with her. She was a great girl. She was funny and interesting and quirky,
No, yeah, because I got the pleasure of meeting her in Dallas about a year ago. And yeah, just exactly how you say, she's very fun. She's very comfortable with herself. Because Charles Band, mainly all full moon films have at least one sex or one nudity scene. And just like the Troma films, it's just completely random. We don't care. We need a tit shot. We need a tit shot.
Exactly. Right back then, it was really important. It helped the sales,
Oh yeah, because
you got to have a certain amount of explosions for foreign films.
Mm-hmm.
This foreign always likes to, they used to add up the explosions. Producers used to say to me, try to find an explosion in a movie. Make a place with a car. If it gets bumped, it explodes for some reason. They go, mean randomly? And they go, no, not just for no reason. Make a reason. So this foreign, they love this. So they would love it. It's still kind of a staple today in action movies. Even this movie coming out, Savages, that Oliver Stone directed. That's going to have solid action, explosions, and everything else. A lot of fire. People love the fire.
Oh yeah. In the words of Beavis and Butthead, fire is cool.
Fire is cool, yeah.
Yeah. No, but
I think that's where it comes from, probably, because
yeah.
I have a real beat on the movie business, and so, more explosions, the better.
Yeah, sadly to say, not to bash anybody here, but, Michael Bay, that's pretty much all he does, just explosions. I'm not... Yeah. Did you stick around between scenes?
Hold on 1 second, sorry, I'm just getting in my car here.
Okay, no.
You there?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
How was cast and crew off set? You kind of did explain some of that.
So
Yeah.
Know what you're doing. Direct yourself.
And I guess he did know what he was doing because, again, the first 5 hold up so well. Many of the fans love the first 3, hands down. So, I mean, because the third one is a prequel to the first one, then the second one's, pretty much a direct sequel to it. And, it has a nice flow to it. And, excuse me. And people liked the way it went, so, I mean, obviously he knew what he was doing. He had an understanding.
Yeah, he had an idea what he was doing. He had a lot of fun doing it himself, I think. He's a little out of his element, I think, because he'd never directed a movie. This was his first film, but I supported him and tried to help him. I didn't take it so seriously where everybody was freaking out like they were doing like Deer Hunter. It was not Deer Hunter. I go, guys, it's a movie about puppets. They're the stars, not us.
Yeah.
Service puppets and have fun.
How long was your makeup process for, when Blade is slashing you,
A couple hours, I think. I can't remember. It's been so long, I'll be honest with you. I forgot that I even had it on myself until you mentioned it.
Yeah, because many...
I remember Blade killed me, though, because Blade was like the coolest puppet in the series. Well, he was like the lead puppet.
Yeah, it's funny because he wasn't meant to be the lead, and then all of a sudden he got more, praise. And they're like, what?
Right, I was pretty flattered that they picked Blade to kill me,
So, on that note, you wouldn't have wanted another puppet or puppets to have killed you in the film?
No, Teller did his deal with my buddy, and, Blade, I like Blade to take me out, Don't give me anybody. That's just like being taken out by
Oh,
Terminator.
yeah.
By the Terminator's buddy.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, man, I got killed.
Blade took me out.
Yeah, Blade, what an honor. You worked briefly on Demonic Toys. How was that? Did you, witness the the toys in that film?
Yeah, it was a bit of a rougher experience. I'm not going to mention any names, but I did get along with certain cast member here and there. Nothing to do with me. Just they had issues with everybody, and I didn't really enjoy the experience with that. But I liked being in the film, and the crew was a lot of crew I worked with, and they were all supporting me and friends of mine. But I just didn't allow it wasn't harmonious as other movies I had worked on. That's all. It wasn't negative, really. It just was. If you take like 10 movies and say these 4, which were your favorite, I'd say, well, these 2 were my favorite, these 2 were my least favorite. I mean, working experience. But I got along with the director, and just a couple of cast members were difficult.
All right, and then...
I enjoyed pulling my eyes out of my head and saying, I only watched you, baby, I hear it next block.
Yes. So you're a man of gore, then?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm not a big war guy. My business partner on my other film right now is war hero. He did Boxing Helena, and he did Fall 3, and now he just completed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new one coming out, Leatherface 3D.
Oh, yeah, I just recently saw that. I was very surprised.
I'm pretty excited. I've been on the set, and I'm around it all the time because he's my partner, and he's the producer and creator of that film, created the screenplay, and he shepherded that movie from the beginning and stuff. He makes me go to these premieres because these are his movies, and I basically stare at the bottom of the screen. I can't watch like people's brains being carved out. It's different if a puppet's doing it, it's taken not so seriously, but when it's super realistic, it's like down my back. I could make one of those movies, and I would make it the most disgustingly skin-crawling, horrific film you ever watch, but I have that imagination, but it's not something I, can't wait to do,
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know because many people thought you were, a gore fan, but thank you for clarifying that. And last question would be, do you have any words for the fans out there?
Any words? Yeah, man. It sounds kind of cliche, but if you really want to do something in your life and you believe in what you're doing, don't let anybody say no, and don't let anybody think no for an answer. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it because you've already seen it by many people doing what they believe in, and it comes true. Dreams
Yeah, and I totally agree with it. I totally agree with that. I mean, because many people thought, I was just some schmuck, some kid trying to get a hold of actors. I go, no, there's a different agenda behind it. It's for the better. Because what I'm going to do after this is promote you on my website, and hopefully I can email you later, and you can send me a link, or if to buy your films. If you have certain props or stuff that you want to auction off, I'll be more than glad to help you out on that. To help you out. Okay. Thank you for your time, and I hope to hear from you. Later, if you don't mind.
No problem. No problem. Email me anything you need.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Have a good day.